Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Xenogears. I'm Dan.
And I'm Austin.
We are here to play games.
Badly.
That's right. Last time, we had a nice long director's cut episode full of lore and backstory and all sorts of character moments. And now we're here to provide you more, but not quite as much as last time. We're going to cap off some of this and get back into some of the gameplay here.
Yes. Hope you enjoyed the 3-hour movie. Now back to regular shows.
Yeah. Yeah, so we did go from last time the confrontation with Ramses in Krellion's Omnigear and Miang in the Solaris one, Opiomorph, to basically Ellie's awakening as Miang, getting absorbed into Deus, and then a whole bunch of stuff about Krellion, Lacan, and Sophia, as well as reveals about Faye and Id and the Coward and where all of this kind of started. So getting lots of answers, lots of bombshells, and now we have just met the Wave Existence for the first time, one of the prime movers of this game and the events thereof. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time in this episode talking about some of the components of the Deus system and how the Wave Existence might relate to them. But for now, we have been told to use the Xenogears and that the system is awakening, and we have a pretty clear goal that's coming into focus here. We basically need to get rid of Deus in order to rescue Ellie. So let's see what we can do to move that forward here.
Yes.
Any comments as we're getting started?
No, but there's so much.
A little bit of overload.
A little bit. Like, I mean, for the viewers' understanding, it's been a week-ish. A couple days, at least, since we did the last episode.
Yep.
I still have not processed it all. And that's about all I've been able to think about for the last couple of days.
Yeah, that's fair enough. All right. Well, we don't have too much to layer on top of that, and hopefully some more clarification. So let's get it moving.
Yeah. I think talking about fourth dimensional beings makes it really difficult to wrap my head around.
Oh, yeah. Could have saved my data here. Go figure. Yeah, fourth dimensional. We got a little bit to unpack about the Wave Existence in particular. So we're definitely going to be getting to that, but a little bit more about everything else before then. So let us resume. Yeah, and that was Id in our last confrontation with him.
Oh. Little looks interesting.
Indeed.
Dad! Dad, are you okay? Dad, I'm sorry. This is all my fault. Faye? You've returned to your own self. You've become one. Thanks to this fistful of memories.
That's right.
And I was pointing it out to Dan last time, but I made a prediction that Faye would inadvertently fight his dad in some capacity. So, just for the viewers to understand, I called that.
Yeah, you've made a couple of predictions about Faye's father, right?
At one point, I said that I think Wiseman is Faye's dad because it was the only thing that made sense at the time.
And that turned out to be right.
Yeah. But I wasn't really sure on that. That was just a guess, right? But the one I said with like 100% conviction was Faye would fight his dad. Which I was right, just not in the way that I thought I was right.
How did you think you would be right?
Well, I thought Faye, as we know him, not as Id, would fight his dad, which is still true technically because he fought Wiseman. So
that's true.
Way. Anyway, yes, Thanks to you all. If all of you hadn't called out to me... Dad! Don't worry. This is good. This is, after all, Dad? You and... What?
You and I must become one!
Grahf? What's going on? Oh, wait. Did Grahf take over his dad's body?
Remember, we learned that Lacan can possess other people.
Yeah.
So yes, Lacan has possessed Khan and is Grahf.
That's so unfortunate.
Uh-huh.
That makes me angry.
But you were right that Grahf is Faye's father as well. That's technically true.
One on a technicality.
Yep.
Grahf, what's going on?
I reached the limit of the body I possessed on that day 3 years ago. I required a body that would tide me over until your true awakening. That is why I acquired the body of your father. Regardless of your awakening, your merging in the inherited memories you had acquired. There was no way for you to know of this, since you had lost your memory of that point. At the point in which I merged with your father.
Impossible. What about Wiseman? What about Father? Yeah, he's been these people all?
Yes. It's sort of like the Fae-id thing when Lacan is in control. He's Grahf. When it's Khan who's in control, he appeared as Wiseman.
Interesting.
Yep.
Of course, they were just parts of me. I couldn't hold on to Khan totally. His ego was far stronger than I imagined. Then my control weakened, he showed himself to you as Wiseman. You have awakened. His body is now useless to me. Now I must return to my original body, the reincarnation of my body that you inhabit.
Stop it. Dad!
I hear you, Faye. You see, he and I are one. I am Khan. Khan is me. He has become one with me, so you too should open your heart and unite with me. Then we can go on to eliminate everything.
We can rule the galaxy as father and son.
Basically. It's very Darth Vader. It really is.
Yeah. No, I can't allow you to control me.
Bye-bye.
Take your Alpha Weltall and get out of here. I've got Xeno Weltall now.
Protecting your master? Then so be it. I'll merge with both you and your machine then. Come now, Faye. Fight me.
So does Alpha Weltall just turn into Wiseman's gear?
Yeah. So technically, the gear we've seen Wiseman using can transform, I believe, much like Veltall could transform into Veltall-id.
It's very strange.
Yeah, so it's complicated by the fact that Alpha Veltall was an Omni gear.
Right.
Technically, even though it looks like the same gear, the Omni gear, the Anima relics were absorbed into Deus, and I believe that does include Alpha Veltall's Naphtali Anima relic.
Right.
So this isn't actually Alpha Veltall we're dealing with currently. This is a different form of the same gear, and it's theorized that there has been contact similar to what has occurred with Veltall, which is why it looks very different. But in this case, it's like an Omni gear. There's a little bit of weird sleight of hand stuff that goes on with gears from now forward. So, you sort of have to accept like, okay, yeah, we're kind of hand waving a couple of the technological aspects of Gears at this point in the game.
It's basically Grahf has a closet full of Veltal gears.
Yeah, something. Yeah,
He is pulling his spare one out of the closet. This one is the beta Veltal. Anyway,
yeah.
because it transforms too, which that was a whole other thing. Okay.
Yeah, the other alternative is that Naftalia was the only relic that wasn't absorbed into Deus, and this actually is Alpha Veltal still, but that's not really the theory I hold to here. I don't really think they talk about it either way, and it looks identical, so it's hard to make a call on. So
Well, it doesn't. It looks identical to the form we've seen. The Alpha Veltal, like Omnigear version, looks a little different. The wings are bigger, and
well, yeah, give it a second.
oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay. But I assume that Lacan encountered the Zohar or whatever that
Right.
Faye has encountered at this point, which is probably why, like you said, his gear is
right. Because we just fought Id in the red version of the gear that Faye is in currently, which is Veltal. So it's been transformed. Right. So Wiseman has been here. Grahf has been here. Right. That's why he showed up and started trying to help. So, yeah, it's my opinion that he did a little bit of a contact with the Zohar, with the existence, and ended up this way because of that. So
yeah, I think that's probably true.
Yeah.
It's no use. I know you're Lacan and that you're a part of me. But that doesn't change you being my father. I could never really fight you.
You're so naive. Why don't you understand that your naivety is what killed Sophia? What killed your mother, Karen?
I already know that. That's why I swore never to run away again. That I must rescue Ellie. So don't get in my way. Wake up! Open your eyes! Father! Lacan!
If that's the case, then fight me. Fight me!
I can't.
I see. Then there's no choice.
Huh? Bye, guys. Have fun.
Since you aren't willing to fight, I believe I'll have to use them as bait.
As any good villain does.
Mm-hmm.
Stop it! Don't we have the same memories? Can't you also remember that sadness you felt way back then? Why then? Why must you destroy everything? If we stop Deus, won't this all be over?
You still don't understand, even after you contact with the existence? I came to understand after my contact with the existence that, even if Deus was destroyed, as long as humans still inhabit this land, young, Elheim will be born time and time again.
Yeah, this is a little bit of a tough to understand line. It kind of baffled me the first time I read it, and I believe what he's saying is that even if Deus is defeated and say that it gets broken into pieces again, which are humans, it's always going to try to come back together. The system will remain functioning. So that there's still going to be this cycle where Elheim and Myong are reincarnated again and again.
Right, because of basically the genetic driving force to reunite.
Yes. Yes, it's a reunion, if you will.
It's instinctual.
Mm-hmm.
But then all living things may as well perish along with Deus itself. That's the only path to freedom. The path to release us from the eternal cycle of life, the tragedies of history, and the spell of fate. Once I awaken Deus as a weapon, I'll obliterate all living things. Then I'll use your awakened self and that machine to return everything to nothing. That's what I concluded. Myong and Elheim are not just Deus's mouthpieces. That woman is its main body. Why can't you see that?
That's not true. She gave her life for me by shielding me from harm. Her eyes weren't Myong's. Mother came back at the last moment. Young, Mother, even Ellie, we're all humans born on this planet. Deus doesn't matter. You'll see. I'll bring Ellie back. Father, no. Grahf Lacan. If you won't back down...
Never.
Then I have no choice.
The time has come to truly become one.
Such a cool scene. All right. So we got a new gear.
What? Why does he look like that in the fight, but not in the cutscene?
What?
With the wings. Why does Alpha Veltal look like his Omnigear version?
So this is true Veltal. He just sprouted wings in that cutscene.
All right.
So he's like entering combat mode or something.
I see.
So we are in the new version of Veltal. True Veltal is pretty easy at this point. It's nothing like the fight with Alpha Veltal. So what I am going to do... Oh, yeah. Just a couple of things about this gear. There is no more System id. It is gone, along with the other two abilities from Veltal 2. However, you'll notice we do have a lot of HP. The other thing I want to call attention to is the right side. Note that Hyper Mode is 99%.
Whoa.
So this in-game gear always will have a 99% probability of Hyper Mode. So what we're going to do is get to 3, and we're going to use Hyper Mode attacks.
I like the shing sound from...
Yeah, I love this gear. It's fantastic. The other really, really cool thing about this gear, we're going to go ahead and pop it into hyper mode here, now that we're at 3. There we go.
Oh.
So in hyper mode, it sprouts wings.
Hmm.
And I'm going to open with Kishin.
Good gracious.
Very different. Yeah, this gear is absurdly powerful. Goten X. That might be it. I think it's going to probably finish him.
Good.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. True Veltal has 15,000 HP in this encounter, and I think they said it that way to demonstrate just how much we've eclipsed Grahf in power.
Right.
Why don't you finish me off? If you don't get rid of me, then you cannot get what you want.
It's all right, Dad. I understand. You are not Grahf. You are my father. You and Grahf are one. Your will and purpose never change. I knew that once we fought, but let's stop now. Our objective should be the same. It is the same as our becoming one. We don't have to fight. What? My body?
Zohar is after you, the last piece to combine with Deus' system. It seeks to unify with you, the first to have been divided from it.
What?
This is what Lacan wanted all along. After all, I am an imperfect existence. It was inevitable that it would come to this, considering what had happened in the past. Lacan's imperfect secondary contact with the wave existence split his personality into two. Eventually his body died, but the original Lacan transmigrated. bringing the destiny of becoming a contact with him. He was reborn as your present body. The remaining persona, just his desires, lived on separately by possessing the bodies of others. That is Grahf. That is me. I may have inherited Lacan's will, but I'm not the same as the contact Lacan. It is impossible for me to make real contact. There would be no true melding and release. Even though our bodies may be different, I am still half of you. That fact remains. Although I am imperfect, I can merge temporarily with Zohar, and thus may be able to buy you some time. This is the only way I can be one with you. This is all I can do. Deus system will start to look for you again. Before then, you have to destroy the newly perfected Deus and his Zohar modifier. You're the only one that can destroy the physical barrier that encases God's body.
Dad!
As you said, that was Karen. Through many generations, Myong is beginning to break free from her bounds. Now that Elheim has merged with Deus, she has all of her memories back. All the memories from her original birth, the contact's complement up to her current transmigration. That includes all the lives she has lived as Myong and her substitutes over the centuries. And of course, that includes your mother's memories too.
Mother's memories?
Faye, cut away all the binds on mankind. You should be able to do that now. Save her and all the other women bound with her. I am begging you, Faye.
And that's the end of Grahf.
He said some confusing stuff.
Yeah, he was attempting to explain how he is different from Contact Lacan, because Deus was attempting to remerge with the Contact, basically.
Right.
But yeah, there was a lot of explanation front-loaded into what he was saying there.
Yep. What's this? This pendant. Is this Sophia's? Or my mother's?
Hmm?
It's nothing. I'm just talking to myself. I'm sorry for all the trouble I've caused everyone. Thank you all so much. Anyway, let's get going. There's little time left now. For me, and for our planet.
All right.
What is this place? This is where it all started. This is our genesis. We know. Humans were born here. Long ago, Deus crash-landed on this planet in an interplanetary colony ship, which he knows this because he's gotten his memories back from first iteration.
Exactly.
Up till now.
Yeah,
Okay.
all of his memories are back.
In order to revive itself someday, Deus detached the Zohar modifier's core. After this core unit came down here, a single woman awoke and arose from out of it. She's the mother of all humanity. So the modifier, the supercomputer,
Mm-hmm. Ah,
that is the woman?
so we covered a little bit of this, but the Zohar had basically a, I believe it's like a turquoise emerald thing in its eye, and that was the control system.
The Kadamini? Is that right? Kadamini?
Right. Yeah, Kadamini was installed in the eye.
Right.
So it detached Kadamini from the Zohar specifically.
Right, which is called a, let me see, check my notes here real quick, but it's like a bio supercomputer?
Biological supercomputer, that's right. Yeah,
So I guess I'm just asking, is he saying that Myong, who emerged from that, is that the Kadamini?
that's a little bit more complicated, but no, not exactly. They're Kadamini is we're basically looking at it at this point.
Okay.
So it's a biological supercomputer, and then the original woman who stood up on the beach in the opening cutscene is different.
Okay.
From Kadamini.
Understood.
It's distinct. So we'll cover that here.
Okie dokie. After she awoke, she used all her power to bear several beings that would become the ancestors of the whole of humanity. These were the Emperor and the Gazel Ministry.
So the woman awoke on the beach, used her power to bear the Emperor and the Gazel Ministry.
Right. Finally, she gave birth to replicas of herself to be humanity's caretakers.
Mm-hmm.
2 selves, the human mother and the weapon. The subject and the complement. That is Ellie and Myong. So Myong is the weapon?
Myong is the weapon, that's correct.
Okay. I, the sole survivor from the colony ship, met Ellie, and everything started from there. The land of Genesis. Kadamini. This is that place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but Faye, even with your shared fate with Deus, why do you have such ancient memories? Usually human memories cannot be passed down through the generations. Humans do not normally have the ability to compress and store memories in their introns.
So introns are doing a lot of heavy lifting here, but that's why he's able to remember across lifetimes with his metempsychotic memory, because of they're stored in the introns.
Interesting.
Yep.
And I guess it's because of his contact with the wave
Correct.
existence. Okay.
Yeah, and then other reasons, Ellie and Myong also have the ability, because they sort of have been a contact, but they're advanced by being parts of Deus created by the system.
Right. But Ellie and I, and Myong, are different. Due to our connection with the wave existence, that is, due to Zohar's ability to change possible phenomena, we can clearly store data in our introns. In other words, we can leave behind memories to be inherited by our descendants. Just as the wave existence is bound inside of Zohar, the information is affixed to me, so to speak, by some of the power of the wave existence. Then this is the form from when Ellie and Myong were still one being. This is the first woman of our world.
So the woman that stood up on the beach, that is her skeleton.
Wow. Our mother.
Yeah, and I believe we move on to... Okay. So we're about to go into kind of a planning stage here. So let's pause for just a moment, just to kind of review what we just learned. So I'm going to go a little bit off of Perfect Works, because the game treats this as kind of the complete explanation of what it is, but there's obviously a little bit more to what's going on. So Deus, we've gone over a little bit of this before. Deus is referring to the entire system. It's sort of composed of like a biological supercomputer, a main body, the Zohar modifier, which functions as the core engine, and then Kadamini is installed in the Zohar. Now, when it crashed, Deus detached Kadamini from Zohar, basically to preserve it and to preserve itself. We destroyed its former shell in Mahanan, the former hull of the Eldridge. So that's what it was before, when it was Alpha 1 in the intro of the game, all that fun stuff. We destroyed the remains of that, but it's been working to rebuild itself, and the way it did that is this. Kadamini activated the program Persona. Persona used basically the contact, or Abel, the original contact, it made contact with the wave existence. As the wave existence stated, it imprinted a will, which is foreign to it, as it's from a higher dimension. And that will was Abel wanted a mother, basically. He was the last survivor of the crash, and so that was the impression that remained. And it's my impression here that the existence was working through the Deus system to make sure Abel survived the crash through the impression of a mother. Because this happened way before the ship self-destructed. Like, not way before, but a couple years before the ship departed. Abel made contact with the Zohar for some reason. So anyway, it activated Persona and created what is usually referred to as original Elheim or true Elheim, and that is the mother. The reason why she had purple hair in the intro is because not only is the wave existence a player here, but Deus is as well. So original or true Elheim was created from Abel's desire for a mother, but there was another program at work called System Hawa. Hawwa. Hawa is roughly translated as Eve, but System Hawa is basically what gave the original Elheim the influence of the Deus system. So you've got the antitype influence from the mother, and then you've got the weapon, right? And this is why they ended up splitting into Elheim and Miang in the end. So Miang is, in lore, she's referred to as Miang Hawa, which is sort of a giveaway, especially if you do Mia Hawa. Like, her name is extremely indicative of who she is. But Elheim is closer to what true Elheim was in the beginning, before System Hawa's influence. And then it goes as they explained it, and Miang is sort of modeled more off of Lilith, which would be Adam's first wife within Gnosticism, due to the imagery. So she's got the serpent-like opiomorph as her Omni gear, things like that. Whereas true Elheim would be closer to Eve. So there's kind of a merging there. And then there's also the introns and all of this, and then it went how they explained it. True Elheim used her power to create the Gazel Ministry, the Emperor. Abel was also a survivor, the only survivor. So these are the players, and then she splits the remains of herself into Miang and Elheim, who become two different people. And that's sort of how it all started.
Yeah, why does she split herself after the fact?
Well, I'm not sure we're given a reason, but I believe the reason is because the antitype has a very different set of motivations than Miang does. Miang is programmed to reunite the pieces of Deus and reform the weapon. The antitype, or Elheim, was created as more of a response to the contact with the existence. So they're two different people, really. And then Miang kind of went through a bunch of humanity, including Karen, Faye's mother. And there's a lot of imagery that happens with the idea of a mother. So Karen is one of them. The original true Elheim came from when Abel was a child, which we saw in the cutscene where he was looking at Kadamini, basically, the Emerald Eye with Elheim in the middle.
Right.
So she had the red hair, the orange hair. So what we see in the intro is after System Hawa imprints on true Elheim as well, and creates that duality to the person. So very much like what Elheim was talking about, what Ellie was talking about, where she felt there was another existence inside her, there's still a little bit of that influence. And we saw Miang 999 is Ellie when 998 was killed along with Krelian by Ramses in front of the reformed Deus. She went into Ellie. Now, she called it chance. I don't think it was. I think it's because the time had come.
Right.
Because Ellie is very... And she had awakened, basically, gone through all of that with awakening to kind of her nature. So unlike Faye, Ellie didn't really have any sort of like memory block. She just had to mature into the anti-type. The anti-type type thing only manifests once they reach a certain age. But they're physically able to be identified.
Yeah, I'm sure. I hope. I assume we'll get this answer relatively soon.
Mm-hmm.
But I have to wonder why Cain and the Gazel Ministry are chasing after Abel and Elheim.
Yeah. I don't recall if we get... I don't think we get an answer in-game, because we've reached basically the end of the lore. Now it's time to deal with the problem. But I think that there's an opportunity for a little more discussion. I believe they modeled it off of Cain slew his brother Abel. They're not technically brothers in this lore, but that's sort of the model of it. And I believe that's what Cain was working to atone for.
Yeah, I could understand like the symbolism and the analogy there.
Mm-hmm. Although I guess technically he blasts down Ellie, but he's after both of them, so you know.
Right, but the allegory there. But I'm curious what events would have sparked these humans to kill their own kind and or maker to some degree. Like,
yeah, we get pieces. Abel we get very little about, and as we get closer to the current time we get more. So we've gotten a lot about Lacan, because he's a mere 500 years in the past, and then part of him has existed and all that fun stuff, whereas we've gotten a little bit of Kim and then very little about Abel. So most of what I'm talking about with Abel comes from the lore, which Perfect Works is a good source of it. Oh, right. This is the other thing I wanted to mention about Perfect Works. So the Perfect Works cover has Ellie on the front of it. She is sitting on water, basically, and there are waves coming out of it. And then her reflection is Miang under the surface of the water. So the purple hair. So that's
cool.
Yeah, it's really cool visual imagery. But anyway, yeah, I mean, that's a good question. That might be a good thing to talk about. I've got a couple of other things I do want to cover. We're going to do a little bit of discussion of the Tree of Sephiroth and a couple of other things. But yeah, we can certainly talk a little bit about what we know of Abel. But yeah, like this game was originally meant to be a part of a wider set of games. And because this was just a Squaresoft game, and the Takahashi and co left for forming Monolith Soft, really they've put most of their creative efforts into Xenosaga, at least at first, and then more recently Xenoblade Chronicles. So this is pretty much what we get. This and Perfect Works, and then there's a couple of supplementary materials for Xenogears. So unfortunately, we'll just have to talk over what the lore is of Abel. That's all we've gotten in the game. Like, there's not anything more about Abel or the first incarnation of Ellie from that time period than what we've seen.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like essential to the story. It's just one of those.
Yeah,
interesting things.
It's really interesting. I really like the history. I mean, Perfect Works goes into like the history of everything, like where the Eldritch came from, which was the Milky Way Federation, and all of this other stuff. The Mictum 04 beta was another part of it and everything. But yeah, not to belabor the point too much at this point, as we'll go ahead and move forward. But did that explanation at least make a little bit of sense of the Deus system and everything?
Yeah. As much as it's going to.
Yeah. We'll dig on it a little bit more later, but yeah, I wanted to at least give a full overview of the mechanics of it, since it's sort of been a thing we've been figuring out.
Right. I don't think I have a problem understanding the components. I think my problem lies in understanding how it technically functions together, which it's magic at this point. Maybe you shouldn't wreck my brain on that.
Yeah, I mean, Zohar is designed to alter potential phenomena, which is a scientific shortcut to its magic. It's an infinite energy engine. It can influence all phenomena. Weird things happen around Zohar.
Right. And trying to figure out how to scientifically understand that is not in my wheelhouse. So
it's a first principle, kind of like the way of existence. It's a you assume this and then you explain scientifically from there. So
Right.
yeah, that's philosophically at least how it functions. But there's probably more we can discuss about it. So.
Sure. So, if we destroy that Zohar thing, everything will be over, right? Yes. The source of our ether powers and the source of power for the generators that make our gears work. It all comes from the Zohar modifier engine, which can control any potential phenomena. If we destroy it, Deus and the Seraph Angels will all be deactivated. And then we should also be able to free Ellie, who has become bound to the Deus weapon system as Myung. Right, Faye? Yeah, that's what the wave existence said. But then there's the downside. It will also mean that we will no longer be able to use our gears or our ether powers anymore. What are those Seraph Angels all about anyway? That odd appearance as if they like something, as if they were neither living beings nor mere weapons. Zohar senses the human consciousness and incarnates the Seraphs. Human consciousness? Zohar itself involves the principle of uncertainty. The observer's perception of Zohar determines the entity actually becomes. Oh, that's interesting.
Yep.
In other words, I believe that those angels are incarnations of the spirits of people.
Yeah, so it all sort of comes from the idea of the monad, which you cannot perceive directly. You can only perceive how you are reflected in it. So the Seraph Angels are being transformed by the Deus weapon system, but because the monad, the wave existence, is part of it, it's causing kind of a self-reflection type thing. And we'll talk about the Tree of Sephiroth and how that relates to it, because it's wild.
Right.
But yeah, incarnations of the spirits of people.
The people who have been absorbed by Deus to become parts of it. So what merits is there for them to gain in eliminating all of civilization? Is it some kind of hatred for those humans who have survived? Of course not. Those people were created and assimilated as part for Deus would not have such intentions. Try to remember that Ellie, when she became young, said, "The creations of God will someday be a hindrance." Sorry, that was Faye saying that. That is why they must be eliminated. Yes, that is why Merkava is being used to begin the destruction. Mm-hmm. But Deus is not following its programming or of exterminating all of civilization. The Seraphs, which are terminal interface weapons of Deus, are using their bodies composed of nanomachines to absorb massive numbers of people regardless of whether they are dead or alive. It is not discriminating between mutant and non-mutant people. This is highly peculiar. The fact that the people who are meant to be destroyed are being taken as well. That is the absolute opposite of what it is supposed to be doing. Maybe there aren't enough parts? That is unlikely. Aside from those bodies that were destined to be parts of it, Deus, who has already acquired the abilities of the nanomachines, can just about use any material. To construct its body, it's obvious it has no other intentions in mind. Those intentions, Krelian has called Deus the Mother. If God is the Mother, then motives are coming from the Greater Mother, from the Great Mother. Mm-hmm. Impeding the growth of its child, enveloping it, to bring the child back to the womb to become one with it. That is its motive. Such a program does not exist within its design, though.
Yeah, so it's a sort of mother instinct regression type thing. It's a little Freudian.
It was probably given this unique will by someone, either from Ellie, who has merged with the Deus, or... Either way, it doesn't change the fact that we have to fight. regardless of what their intentions are, the problem is we're supposed to deal with them. You think we can do it in our current state? This secret battleship, Excalibur, will also take part in the final battle. Additionally, the military potential of all the surface force will assemble here. Even if we could put together a massive force, we still have the problem with the main armament of the Merkava. We need to know how to take that out. As long as we don't do that. Merkava's ultra-long-range cannon has the ability to vaporize any substance. That's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
On top of that, they have a barrier around their perimeter that nullifies all attacks. We fought against the Merkava many times to try to stop its onslaught. However, we cannot even get close. Hence, we have had to withdraw every time. Damn it. No matter how much we want to save Ellie, if we can't get inside the Merkava, it's meaningless. To add to that, there is the problem of the Seraphs. They function as the terminal interface weapons to close defenses. For close defense.
Yes.
I can easily say their attack power is equivalent to the Omnigear class. They even have the regenerative ability due to the nanomachines. Don't be concerned about that. I was able to obtain some data from the Xenogears.
Yeah, so we haven't really seen it in the menus yet, but Veltal's final form is called Xenogears.
Oh.
Yep.
It's just one called Xenogears.
Right, its name is Xenogears.
Oh, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of assumed that was like a category of gears.
It kind of is. It's, yeah, once he's done explaining.
All right. You see, Xenogears has mutagenically evolved due to its contact with Zohar. Using that data, all of your new gears ought to be completed soon. Yes.
Yeah, so he used Xenogears as a template. And what this means is everyone will be re-elevated to Omnigear status that had one before. So this brings back Anvari, Fenrir, Elrin Mazaro, and Elstyr. They're all back at this point. He kind of hand waves it with the evolution of Veltal into Xenogears.
Nice.
Yep, it's pretty cool. So I guess I don't know if they retain their Omnigear function, where they are mentally controlled, or if they control like standard gears but have the capabilities. Because Xenogears is not an Omnigear. It's a regular gear that is just evolved to the point where it's just an absurdly powerful weapon that's come in contact with the Zohar in the existence. So,
Right.
yep.
Additionally, all the other weapons and armaments are being modified to implement the disassembler device. Disassembler device? In contrast to the nanoassemblers, which create matter to repair with, the disassemblers have the ability to dismantle or destroy matter, yes. They can even deactivate the nanomachines' restoring ability by disengaging their repair programs. This should be sufficiently effective against the Deus Seraphs. Alright, even if we can deal with the angels, just how are we going to deal with that Merkava? We can't even get close to the thing. There's no such thing as a perfect defense. There is a way. Look over here. Merkava's main gun requires 1.2 second intervals to reload because of its tremendous output. Upon firing, although it is only sectional, there will be a portion of the barrier that will be opened. There's a 1.87 second delay before the barrier performs in that area. If we can use this window of time to target and destroy that cannon, it will be possible to close in on it. If we can get close enough, we can break through this gravitational spatial correction. Well, this is the rough idea. Unfortunately, we don't have such a long-range cannon. that could acquire a target in such a brief time frame. So what are you saying? Is we just need to shut the annoying cannon up, right? Gonna use some BART missiles. You want to go ahead on into Makava? Now you're being reckless again. That's suicide. No, listen. We're not going to just rush in. The Yggdrasil 4 and this Excalibur are also equipped with barriers. That's what we'll use. Although only for a short time, we can't withstand a direct hit from Arkava's main cannon. That would be ridiculous.
We can withstand a direct hit.
Oh.
First.
That's still ridiculous.
Yeah.
Then we can close in and watch for that part of the barrier to go down and then destroy the ship. The cannon. Wow, why am I having trouble?
Words are hard.
Like, it'd be one thing if I'm like half asleep, but it's not having that problem right this second.
That's okay.
How long will our barrier last? You know why you're here. About 20 seconds or so. That's all? It wouldn't matter how fast we fly. In that amount of time, we'll be without a barrier before we can get within firing range. And those numbers are valid only if the generator is at full drive, right? You can only get those numbers if we sacrifice all other output and propulsion. I'm not suggesting we go in with guns blazing. No, we're going to lose. We're going to physically put a lid on it, directly. Plug the hole.
Uh-huh.
As you've said. The Yggdrasil 4 of Excalibur Barrier can't sufficiently defend against Merkava's attack. At least with one generator, that is. Meaning we can defend against the Merkava with twice the amount of time. 40 seconds if we couple the two generators together. This way we can make it into the heart of Merkava. Then what about the propulsion? Just hear me out. This is what we do. First, we transform my Yggdrasil into heavy assault mode and load it onto the Excalibur so we can couple the generators. By doing that, we can reduce the energy usage down to just supporting the hull of the ship and generating the barrier. This will allow most of the energy to be devoted to generating the barrier. Next, shift the barrier to full front and focus it to a single point where their main cannon will make its strike. Now for movement. First off, we develop a barrier by engaging Excalibur's generator to maximum power. For propulsion during that time, we'll install on the Yggdrasil those large solid rockets we got from the ruins from the mass driver.
They're going to strap nukes onto the side of it, basically. Not really nukes, because I don't think they have a payload, but just the propulsive rockets.
The BART boosters.
Yeah.
When Excalibur barrier expires, we'll use the Yggdrasil 4's generator to develop a barrier. Then we'll also detach the solid rockets and shift the Excalibur into conventional flight. Using this method, we can get right into Merkava's face. After it fires, it'll be defenseless. During this time, we'll block the muzzle on the Merkava's cannon with Excalibur's bow ram, upon which we should have 0.67 seconds. With the cannon fire of the Excalibur, we'll destroy the Yggdrasil 4 slave generator and incapacitate the Merkava along the way. And then, we break through! That's what the plan is all about. The combination of the barriers of both ships, storming the Merkava. The timing of the cannon fire of the Excalibur, these are all going to be crucial. Mess up any one of these, and the consequences are going to be severe. Hence, it'll be necessary to have both crews in sync with each other. That's why I'd like to place Sig in command of the Excalibur.
I just want to point out, Choo Choo is hanging out up on the top level, like at a computer terminal for some reason.
She's checking her emails. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, she's just kind of logging on to stuff. I don't know.
Her chew book.
Yeah, there you go.
I have no qualms with that. What do you think, Queen? Will you lend us your battleship? Since there appears to be no other alternative, let us go with that. Please use it as you see fit. But we're not cutting it uncomfortably close. Are we not cutting it uncomfortably close? When you calculate the arrival time and the barrier generator time, you'll see what I mean. One minor mishap will put us in a situation where we could run out of barrier power before our arrival. Also, we'll be devoting both generators to keep the barriers up. Won't that leave us without perimeter defenses? We won't stand a chance if we engage by the Seraph Angels on our way to Merkava. We'll hold them off. You can count on us. You guys just concentrate on taking out that main cannon. Thanks. We're depending on you. Already, everywhere else has been taken out. This is the only place that's left. This is going to be the true final battle.
Yeah, so the Seraph Angels and Merkava are kind of devastating everywhere. So this is sort of a effort to get rid of it, or it can finish them off. We set out to silence God's Ark, Merkava, which was the epitome of offensive and defensive power, and then storm inside it. We initiated the operation to destroy Zohar. This is a cool scene.
Plug the hole. Plug it.
That's right.
Those rocket boosters.
Yup.
We're going to space.
Fire! And Vari.
Nice.
Mission accomplished.
Jeez.
Yep. Merkava is toast.
You broke my Beyblade. That can't be. A secondary explosion? Oh no. It should have known better. Or I should have known better. What a miscalculation. The explosion was too big. It reacted with the main condenser right under the main cannon and induced a secondary explosion. How could I have been so stupid? You mean we overdid it? Why did I not realize it sooner? Yeah, you should have done it immediately when Bart had an idea. This means we might have... Oh no, Ellie! Oh my gosh. Ellie! What is it this time? Hey, Satan, what more is going on to happen? Something is happening in the center of Merkava. What could it be? Space. Oh dear.
Problems.
That's Deus.
Yes, it is.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Whoa.
Deus had to recalibrate its plans.
That is some serious waste. That's miles of just dead land now.
Mm-hmm. At that time, the earth quaked and shook, and from the location where the Merkava crashed, a giant object appeared. It was Deus's final form. The Merkava was merely its vessel. Deus evolved through the use of Krellian's nanomachines into a planetary-scale weapon and began terraforming. It was attempting to convert this entire planet into a weapon. We retreated back to the base at the snow plains to form a new strategy. We decided to go back into Deus. Time was running out for us. But don't worry, we're gonna abuse cinematic timing now.
That's right.
Okay. So we'll just take a look here. We do have Xenogears as phase gear, and Finver and Envari. Xenogears starts with over 30,000 HP, fuel of 7,000. I believe its output starts at 60, if I remember right. We'll be taking a little bit closer of a look at gears here in a little bit. Just swap over here. This is the Snowfield Hideout. We're going to go ahead and save our game here, and we'll start exploring. This is basically the final town of this game.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and the music should sound familiar. Let's see. Oh, hey. Hello. Okay. Okay, yeah. So we can, let's see, heal? Oh, I guess we can rest in here if we want. Sure. We'll just restore our HP and stuff.
Yeah.
All right, let's start exploring the Snowfield Hideout. Yeah, so if it wasn't clear yet, this is Shivat. And it's now the Snowfield Hideout because with all of the chaos, it crashed, is what happened.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And it crashed in a cold part of the world.
Right. Yeah, it's in a snowfield. This base last refuge for humans. As you can no doubt see, we have almost no supplies. We're using a fallen piece of Shivat as the main base, but you probably could have guessed that, huh? Take out Deus even one day sooner, we can't hold out much longer like this. It's a pretty dire situation, but we can poke around here. There's a couple of things. I think there's... Let's see... Us people of Shivat have always dreamed of coming down to live on the planet's surface, but we didn't ever imagine this would be how we would realize that dream. This is unbearable. Okay, there should be at least some shops. Kislev, Nissan, we've been feuding for such a long time, but finally we are coming together as one like this. But it's probably already too late. It's always the case. By the time we notice anything, it's way too late. How could we possibly stand up to God's army? The situation's really hopeless. Don't worry, we got that. Here we go. I think this is one of the shops. Perfect. Let's see what we got here. Thor's Thunder. Sure.
Thanks, come again.
Need something? Hang on a minute.
Hey, buddy, you need something?
Gear shop, I believe.
What are you buying?
Xenogears?
So cool looking.
Yeah, I really like Xenogears. Thor G.
You guys thought those unique gears earlier were the Gundams. Tricks on you. Xenogears is the Gundam.
Yeah, this I love Xenogears. It's so cool. Let's see. All right, so Xenogears has a unique frame called Xeno 30,400. So I believe there is at least one vendor that lets you equip a Veltal type frame. It is technically compatible. Don't do it because you cannot rebuy Xenogears frame. So just leave it alone. Yeah, okay. Xenogears starts with the Y67,000. The X78,000 is my personal favorite for in-game engines. So we're going to go ahead and upgrade it to its 8,000 fuel. Armor starts with the RX Metal 70, which we're going to leave alone for right now. I do have a reason for doing that. You can do the Z alloy. I recommend leaving it alone for now if you're like me and you like the split ones. But yeah, we're going to get everybody's fuel capacity upgraded here. Yep. So I've got kind of my chosen main party. Emeralda, Citan, and Faye with 8,000 fuel engines. And their best frames, and everybody else except for Maria and Rico on their upgraded frames here. And I will be going ahead and fixing those fuel numbers because we're going to want everybody upgraded nicely here by the end of the game.
Thanks. Come again and I'll give you a better deal. Yeah, better you than me.
Hey. Okay. So, yeah, there is another option as far as engines go that we are going to be going over. If you do want to do an optimization, and I'll put it this way, if you don't really care too much about hyper mode, then it may be good to wait on those and just leave it how it is. I personally prefer the 8,000 fuel engine myself. And I've got my reasons for that we'll discuss a little bit more at length later on. Now let's poke around here. We're going to get a couple more things. There's a few things we can get here that are really, really cool. Okay. I think we can get back here. Yeah. I believe what we need to do here is... Yeah, so I'm going to temporarily unequip the Kishin sword. And we go back here. There's a guy we can talk to.
Oh.
Look at all this. This place is kind of huge.
Seems like it.
Hey, buddy.
I am a celebrated gear weapons specialist, but lately there's been no interesting work. There are no men with enough guts to ask me to forge them a weapon to fight Deus. If you bring me a nifty sword, I can forge it into something truly amazing. Thank you anytime. But I won't work for anyone rude enough to ask me to check a weapon while it's still equipped to their gear. Oh, the Kenshin. You sure have a novel sword. Looks interesting. Let me take a peek.
So he's going to work on the Kishin sword.
This came out great. I was like turning plowshares into a sword. Use the sword and make Deus and his legions pay.
Kishin sword was enhanced. Kijin sword. All right, so we're going to re-equip that on the Fenrir. Yeah, and the Kijin sword is extremely good. It's 110 attack more than the Sengoku sword, which I believe is 90. Kijin sword is the strongest gear weapon in the game. Now, a lot of gears don't use weapons, and I believe like Billy's ammo can sort of compete with it. One of the reasons I don't really use Bart, even though he's got Wild Smile and a solid Omni gear, is I do prefer Citan for his gear Fenrir. I am a big Fenrir fan as far as like power output and usability. But there are like it's hard to make a bad choice. I will argue that Emeralda is one of the best in-game party members, but we gotta find out some more on that. But the whips for Bart's gear are just not quite as high of attack power, so he's better optimized in other ways if you really want him to, you know, tear things apart.
Right.
But yeah, that's one of the bigger things we're going to want to get here, the Kijin sword. Here we go. Time to catch up with some people here. Let's see. Who are these people?
We are to be judged. The last day is nigh. You two should be careful. It's all according to prophecy.
All right, then.
Just when I thought I could ride the UFO, it's not flying anymore. On top of that, this guy keeps saying some annoying stuff.
Let's see. There's that. Where the heck? Oh, hey. Yahoo!
Yahoo!
Hey, guys. Go in here. Is this? This might be the room I'm looking for. Hey!
Hey, Dan. In the prison, when I saw you change to a monster, I understood everything. Living inside you, Faye, there's a monster that is not you. He's the bad one. He's to blame. So, to forgive you or to not forgive you? Well, that's not the problem. It's not like it's going to turn back things the way they were, but... it's just... I don't know how to say it properly, but I'm sorry. It's all right, Dan. Enough already. I understand. It is my fault. I'm sorry I caused such pain. I'm just glad that I could finally make peace with you. Take care, kiddo.
We make up with Dan. Hey, Midori.
Faye, I was so scared a little, but not really scared. Because I knew that inside of the nut monster, you were doing all you could to fight it. Faye, I knew it. Midori, I had better give this back to you. It's your precious ring, right?
Yeah, that's Midori's ring, which I believe we got, near the beginning of the game at Saiten's house. So, if you keep that...
Be a good little girl and listen to your mother, Yui, alright, Midori? Oh, and look after Dan for me, okay? Yep, we are all fine. Faye, you be careful too. I'm sure your voice will reach her too, Faye. Yeah, I guess you're right. Okay, well, I'm going now. See you later. Here, I got this from Choo Choo. Faye, you can have it. I'll trade you for my ring.
Hercules ring. Alright, so the Hercules ring is pretty cool if you haven't done a lot of grinding up to this point. Let's just take a look at it real quick. Yep, EXP gained up 50%. So it's sort of like the Wizardry ring, but for XP. So if you are under level 80 at this point with Faye, I recommend you slap it on him and try to get Yamike. Definitely at least get him to level 70 so he can use Kishin in Xenogears, if you are concerned with that. All right. Another one of those. There's a little bit more we can get around here. Yahoo!
Man, I forgot that we could run around on a map.
Yup. Oh, hang on a second. I think. Yeah, it's been a while. It's been like we haven't really been able to do this since we went to Solaris on Disc 1.
Oof.
Yeah. Oh, Queen, what do you see with those eyes? That look of sorrow, as if you lost something. Within that, there lies a kindness which would forgive all. Can we go up here? Yeah, we can. There she is. The snow keeps falling, softly covering up everything in this world. Our sorrow, our defilement, our mistakes, if only we could wipe away these things as easily as that. What have I, been doing, been pursuing for these past 500 years?
terrible things.
By the way, how is the person you rescued from Merkaba? I heard he recovered consciousness.
Yes, well, at first he had lost faith in himself, but now he is better. Carr has revived himself and has found some real meaning in his life. If he decides to fight on our side, then our total fighting power shall be greatly increased. Oh, Ramses is still alive.
Ramses is still alive.
Nice. Carr, please listen to me. Right now, we must forget about being friend or foe. We all must support one another, regardless. Right now, we need your help. I am just trash. A reject. Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Stop feeling sorry for yourself and pull yourself together, man. Hyuga, what are you doing? Trash. Reject. You can take pity and call yourself that all you want. But what about them?
They're here.
Are those women stupid or trash or rejects too for believing in you? The reason why you helped the girls, who had no one to turn to, may not have been that noble. But in spite of that, they stuck with you. Do you know why? They know you better than anybody else. They know the true kindness that exists inside your heart. They know because they want to be loved. That is why they won't leave you. Ka, do not mistake them, or do not make them into the trash or rejects that you speak of. Commander. All of you. Needless to say, you are not trash or a reject. You know that better than anyone else. I didn't realize that what I've been looking for was so close to me. I am sorry for not realizing sooner. Oh, Commander. So much has happened between him and I. When this battle ends, I want to face Ramses one-on-one in sport, not war, as a martial artist. I'm sure he wishes the same thing too. Perhaps. Faye, may I ask you something? About Ellie. Even if we break so hard spell, she doesn't return to normal. Ellie will be back to her usual self. I will go on believing that. But even if that doesn't happen, I will still... Well, let's just say I'm prepared for that too. You don't have to do this if you don't want to, you know. Your opponent is the person you love. If you decide to quit now, no one will blame you. To quit would be meaningless. All that I have fought for and all that I live for would come to have no meaning at all. People should be free, with no one bound by others, and no one binding others. Inside of me, there is a part of me that desires that freedom, and a part of me that gives me hope. So I shall fight to win true freedom, for we are still alive. We fight to live. That is the reason why I fight. It's proof I'm human. I promised my father and myself too, that I would free Ellie from Deus's binds, that I would save her. I understand. So, let's keep believing and hope for a miracle.
Alrighty. Yeah, so that scene is one of the reasons why it's speculated that there may have been an intention to have Ramses join at the end of the game. I'm not sure what gear he would have used. Maybe they would have rebuilt Vendetta or something. But yeah, it's speculated because we have an 8-person party in a system that allows for 9, because Ellie, she's out of the party. So,
Right.
there,
So he would make a good replacement.
yeah, he could replace. It's also, there is some speculation that Margie would have been part of the party as well, like a full party member, which I think would have been pretty interesting. But instead, she is a guest character in a couple of instances. So,
Right. Well, I feel like something would have had to happen to Bart for Margie to be the one.
possibly, yeah, she could have taken control of Anvari.
What's that skinny guy?
From the elevator on the Thames, yeah.
Everyone's gonna die. Booze. Bring booze.
Let's see, what do we got down here? Where are these people? Are they from, like, Nortoon?
That's what it looks like.
Hey, you, it's freezing in here. Can't you do something? This is not good for my complexion.
It's a snowy area. I mean, oh, hey.
You're not my dad.
Lance.
Hans, is that you?
Joe, you're alive?
Yeah, you too. But if you're here, that means the Thames is...
The Thames sank. The Angels attacked. The Thames withstood the onslaught of Reapers, but defenseless against those Angels. Hardly anyone got out in time. They went down with the Thames. Thames.
Thames. What? Oh, wait a minute. What about the captain? He's okay, right?
The captain said he'd watched the end of the Thames with his own eyes.
You're kidding, right? That old guy died? No way.
No, the captain's alive. He's the kind that never keels over. Because he is the man of the sea.
So what's happened with you lately? I didn't know you had a son. The kid who just left seemed pretty angry about something.
I'm embarrassed to say you just saw that. I got married just before the Thames went down. Her name is Anna. She's my wife. She's saved by the Thames when the ships were attacked by Reapers. Unfortunately, that's when she lost her husband. Don't misunderstand me. It wasn't out of feeling sorry for her or anything like that. Or, well, perhaps it was. I just wanted to protect her, that's all. If you call that feeling sorry, then I suppose I don't mind. The captain teased me mercilessly. He said, "What? A cold guy like you seducing a widow? Just make sure the kid doesn't hate you." Ha! I guess the captain was right. My stepson doesn't like me yet, but I'm hoping someday.
I see. Boy, you've changed.
Haha, you changed too, Faye. I don't know how to explain it, but that's for me. Well, I don't know what that it is. I guess I've always had someone protecting me.
Hans. Have you met Franz? He's a good friend of ours.
Faye, I believe that one day the captain will come down with that stairway. Tap, tap, tapping it with his cane. And he'll say, "Hans, it looks like we'll be out of get our hands on a priceless treasure." What kind of face is that? You don't believe me, huh? This time it's true, honest. Maybe someday.
Hans, looks like we'll get our hands on a priceless treasure.
Huh?
What kind of face is that?
Captain!
What's with the shouting of a captain? Cut it out, you fool.
You fool! Do you know how much I was worried about you?
Ha! I've been telling you all along. Don't you get it? Now listen. Men of the sea, never say die. You are such a... Hans, this time it's true. It's an island with buried treasure called Dunman Isle. An ancient hero defeated a monster there, and now legend has it his fabled sword rests there. What info do you have? Do you know where the place is? What's about the ship? Don't know where it is. Don't have a ship? Don't worry with the details. Don't you know that attitude of yours is why that kid won't take to you? That's none of your business. Well, by the time that kid actually decides to like you, I'll have managed to get a new ship. Till then, give it all your family, lad. Give your family the love they need while you still have the chance.
All right, then.
Jeez, when it comes to him.
All right. So the captain has survived, which makes me happy. This right here, Anna's daughter, you can play in speed. Let's see. Yep. Anna.
Some fleshy woman attempts to me a card game.
All right, so we are going to chicken. Yeah, I'll come back for my revenge on you. So playing speed, you can get a couple of prizes: the Emeralda Junior doll and the Ellie Junior doll. Those are accessories, and we'll go over some of what those do. I'm not going to subject you to the speed game again just now, but this area is always open, so we can go back through and grab those accessories. I'm going to go ahead and check a couple of other things here. All right, so this is a dead-end tunnel here.
I think I smell treasure over there. I think I smell treasure over here.
Yeah, I think, yeah. All right, so what you have to do, and we've been selling these, but we have to give him gold nuggets to dig through the wall. Let's see. Okay, so you give him a gold nugget, and then you give him a gold bullion after a while, and then he'll dig all the way through the wall, and it will unlock a super deluxe jukebox you can listen to for 100G per song.
Nice.
So I don't tend to do that, but you can do it if you want just like a sound test that you can use or something like that. So I may unlock it, but it's not really a big priority. Let's see, near the tunnel entrance. This person? I hate the cold. It's killing me. Temperature keeps dropping. I'll be frozen before Deus can finish us off. What are you talking about? Okay.
We're all gonna freeze.
Ah. Let's see. Near the tunnel entrance, huh? Oh, is it her? Ah, here we go. Okay.
What can I do for you today, Soraya?
No, not that one. She's a shop. Maybe it's this person, actually. Hold on. Yeah, here we go. Hey.
Hey, aren't these picatiles cute? They're going cheap too. How about it? Want to buy some picatiles?
Yep.
All right, 200,000, 20,000,
20,000
for the lot, and no haggling for discount. So pay up.
Forced to pay 20,000.
Forced.
Get robbed.
You want to take them? Great. Here's the whole thing. Thanks. They're really delicious if you grill them.
Wow. They're like, bye.
Nah. I know nothing. Nothing.
Well, I do want to go up.
No.
This is why it's worth it to pay the 20,000 G, because you can get a bunch of things from doing this. All right, let's see. Strange old Grandpa Choo Choo's precious treasure. Happened to him when Shivat crashed down to Earth. Haven't seen him. His treasure. Can we just take it? Sure, he won't mind if we just borrow it.
Grandpa Choo Choo's treasure.
All right, so
Vivid turban.
Speed shoes, which are amazing.
Gotta go fast.
Yeah.
My Sonic shoes. Oh, hey, that's the whole like area that they were all in. Okay.
Exactly. Just borrowing it. Just borrowing it. Not like we're grave robbers or anything, right? So don't hex us or haunt us, okay? Please, we're begging you. Hero costume.
Nice.
Hercules ring.
Does it come with a cape?
That's a good question.
Knuckles.
Wizardry ring. Huh? This is a mythical RPS badge.
You got it back.
The H&S badge of legend.
Oh.
The tag badge that even collectors go crazy over. I
bet that old choo-choo guy must have been so happy. It was displayed so nicely here. I can't take this from him. Faye gently put the badge back where he found it.
But I want my badges back. Yamato belt.
So did all the choo-choos here like die from the crash or something?
I don't think so. I'm not sure, but I don't think so. Maybe that's just because I don't want them to have died. But
right. Well, I mean, I guess we've seen that one playing with the kid in the hallway, but
yeah. I think maybe they got scattered around or something. I'm not sure. Yeah,
gotcha.
It's down when ally KO'd. So this is slightly better than the Slayer robe. The real treasure, though, is right here. So, Speed Shoe, 1/2 times time between turns. Speed Shoes essentially give you auto haste. They are fantastic because not only do they give you auto haste, but they work in gears. So if you equip Speed Shoes, you never have to use Booster again. Booster is superfluous, and they haste you without consuming your fuel like Booster does. So, we are going to be getting multiples of those. I'm going to give Faye the Speed Shoes here.
Wow, that's really nice.
Yeah, they're one of the best items in the game, and they're fantastic at in-game. So, there is a good place to farm those, and we are going to be doing that. I will be getting another two pairs of them at least. Okay. So we've gotten most everything here. I will be getting the Emeralda and Ellie Jr. doll at some point. I'll be grabbing those probably before our next episode. There are a number of side quests you can do at this point as well. So the captain mentioned one of them, Doonman Isle. That is a place we are definitely going to go. Other than that, there are not a lot of places to go at this point. Both of the Anima Relic dungeons are open. We can go back to Tora's house. There's the Snowfield hideout where we are. We can actually go back to Nortune, and you can go and do the gear combat there. There is, of course, the final dungeon, and then there are two places that are larger side quests. There's the Doonman Isle, and then there is the Lighthouse, which is extremely important, and we will be doing both of those side quests.
Lighthouse, huh?
Yep.
Is it a Pharos lighthouse?
Is it a what?
Is it Pharos lighthouse?
Pharos Lighthouse. I'm going to say yes.
I think it's the Dalmascan Final Fantasy world has a Pharos lighthouse.
Oh.
I think.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't either.
Yeah.
I'm just saying stuff.
It is, yeah. The Lighthouse is probably my favorite side quest in this game. Doom and Isle is a cool one, but yeah, the lighthouse is extremely important. I recommend doing it. It's borderline what I would term essential to the full experience of the game, so I definitely recommend doing at least the lighthouse. The Doom and Isle is mostly there for you can optimize some equipment, and there's a couple of on-foot things you can do, which are pretty cool. Most of the rest of this game, though, is done in gears, so your on-foot equipment is going to be a little less important.
Right.
We are down here. We've got Xenogears, where Veltal and Veltal 2 were, although I don't think we're ever able to see Veltal 2 there, because we can't go to the Yggdrasil while we're using Veltal 2 due to Disc 2. But it's cool walking around seeing the Omnigears here.
Yeah, for sure.
Elsteer, Elrin Mazo, there's Crescens over there.
You're the only ones who can save us. We're counting on you.
Oh.
Young master, you better not die. Promise me.
Of course, I'm not going to die. Quit saying such weird stuff.
Sorry. Yeah, you're right. You'll make it back. When you come back, I'm going to... Well, I just thought maybe I could be closer to you, you know?
Hey, whoa, quit it. Do you know what you're saying?
Just kidding, young master. You're all panicked.
She wasn't kidding.
She was not.
Funny, I don't see Choo-Choo anywhere. Where'd she go off to? Change party members?
Yeah, that's why I talked to her, but let me... but yeah, now we gotta find Choo-Choo, because where is Choo-Choo? Remember to obey lights out from now on. Please come back. Alright. Yeah, so this is what I was trying to do before. Go over here. Oh, look.
Wait, what is she doing? Why is she there?
What do you want to do?
Pet Choo-Choo?
Yep. Let's hear the lowdown. This is
Choo-Choo? What in the world are you doing here? You don't need any maintenance work. You're in the way. Go eat some food, take a nap or something.
what?
I'm exhausted, Choo-Choo. Since you're here, I'd like a massage. Just kidding. Ellie, she was so kind. I know I'm not the only one you miss, sir. I know Bart, Margie, Billy, Sighton, Riku, Maria, Esmeralda, and Faye all do too. Although they don't say it, I can feel it. Standing here, I remember her kind and gentle smile. Ellie will return, won't she? You know it.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Choo-Choo. Thanks for trying to reduce all this tension in the air for me. I'll remember this. Anyway, Ellie's gonna be alive, right? Faye! Let's go back to the room. Marty seems worried. Okay, I'll come too.
Choo-choo.
No.
Yeah, I believe... Yeah. So... that is normally where Vierge was. So it's empty at the moment.
That was silly.
Yep. Choo-choo, you so silly. All right. Let's see here. Got a little bit more we can do here, but yeah, I am gonna pop over to Tora's house at this point, because we've got a couple of things we can grab there, and I am going to go ahead and grab speed shoes for my other two party members at this point. and we'll have to do a little bit of fighting on foot, so I'll probably swap off the holy pendants for armor. That's usually what I do. I'll put holy pendants on everybody for their gear combat, and then swap to armor for on foot. And we've got some solid armor, and we're about to get a little bit more, so.
Nice.
Deus integrated with Zohar and awoke. But we found out Deus is in the center of the giant structure created out by the fallen Merkava. The only way we can think of destroying Deus is to penetrate into there and make our way to the center. That structure used to be Merkava itself, but we must assume the inside was significantly changed. We don't know what dangers await inside there. Please be careful. Yeah, thanks again. Let me take care of it. I will destroy Deus, even if it costs me everything I have.
Mm-hmm.
Faye, are you sure about this? Bart. I know what you must be thinking now. If you destroy Deus, the proliferation... Words. The proliferation of the nanomachines that are out to turn this planet itself into a weapon will stop. But if you end up losing Ellie, who was united with Deus for that very purpose, then what good will it be to you? But... That's right, Faye. She's our friend, who's been through a lot with us, too. I think that saving a dear friend is just as important as protecting our planet or saving the world. The better reason is there to fight. If you can't even save your friends, then who could you save? Then how could you save the world? Excuse me. Don't you agree?
Yeah, Sig's right. Don't you ever give up, Faye, no matter what. You're the only one who can release Ellie from Deus' spell. But we'll give you as much backup as we can, so... Don't shoot us?
Mm-hmm.
Thanks a lot, Bart, Sigurd. I won't give up.
You volunteered to fight for the young master and the rest of us. So it's our turn to fight for you and Ellie. Let's go, Faye, to gain true freedom.
Oh, yeah.
Shall we launch the Yggdrasil?
All right. So, as you can see, there are not very many dots on the world anymore. Whoops. Not what I meant to do. Gotta remember how to steer this thing. Let's see. Was it that? Yep. There we go. All right. So, yeah, we've got the Yggdrasil. We're gonna go over here. I think this is the right island. No, this is different. Maybe this one? Yeah, this is it. So we're going to set down here. Get out to go through the forest here. Tora's house! We're going to go ahead and visit here. This was back when we started Disc 2.
Yeah.
Hey, buddy.
Thank you for visiting. You look mighty healthy, yes? I want to help you more, but this body can't survive unless it breathes the air here. Looks like I'm just about to ready to meet my maker, huh? Ho, 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 ho. Oh, Tora. You goofy goober. Don't worry, I'll stop my moaning. Besides, I have a nice present for you.
Manly mantle. Goddess robe.
The fate of the world is in your hands. We're counting on you. In the meantime, I will just watch from here.
Alright, so let's go ahead and re-equip some stuff here. This is probably going to be the last thing that I'm going to do on this episode. Let's see. Forest. Yeah, we'll pop out to the forest. But I do want to give a little bit of space to talk about some of the revelations and lore here. So I'll open it up. Austin, do you have any thoughts, questions, exclamations?
That's a loaded question.
Sure is.
Okay, so I'm still trying to figure out how the true mother kind of fits into all of this, because when it talks about the Kadamini, you know, in the description, this is from last episode.
Right.
The Kadamini is a biological supercomputer that was ejected from the Zohar.
Mm-hmm.
It has a life support plant known as a persona.
Persona is the element. Yeah. It's an element and a program. Oh, by the way, here is Yamike, the final death blow.
Oh.
It's very powerful.
Ow. Nice.
Yep. Well worth getting.
Yeah. So I guess this is where my curiosity lies. That life support plant, that persona, that is the mother, right?
Well, the mother was created out of the life support plant. So think of it like Abel / the contact imprinted on the wave existence, and then ended up with basically imbued it with will. And then when Persona and Kadamini used their resources to create the mother, there was what the wave existence impression was, and then there was System Hala that were both kind of part of that creation.
Okay.
But yeah, so Persona is closer to the element of Kadamini, whereas original or true Elheim was the mother. And when Ellie awakened as the last Miang, she basically returned to that state where Elheim and Miang were one and the same person.
Right.
Which is sort of what Grahf was saying when he said Ellie has all of her memories back. It's the two halves of basically the mother have become one. But I know why you say that, because they did mention that Elheim was the Persona mask, basically.
Yeah.
So, it does make sense. It's just the term is a little confusing because they're referring to the element, the central element. It may have been true. I'll have to double check, but Persona seemed like it was the program, but then that's sort of what Miang was doing. She was acting under that program. So, they're pretty close. They might be kind of one and the same thing, or Miang was programmed by Persona, basically.
Right. I guess the reason I keep harping on those because when we went to see the Kadamini,
Yes.
as Faye and Satan and Bart, the skeleton of the woman is in a tube inside the machine.
Right.
And based off the flashback, we saw Faye seeing Elheim for the first time. I think he's seeing her. It's when he makes contact with the Zohar. He's seeing her too.
Yes.
She's still in a tube.
Yes.
So, the only conclusion I can have is that she is part of the bio supercomputer.
I think she emerged. I mean, she definitely emerged because we saw her on the beach in the beginning of the game. That was the same being. It was just changed by System Hala and Miang.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, they are closely related. We'll put it that way, at the very least.
Right. And then Deus, or rather, the mother, then creates other humans for the express purpose of restoring Deus.
Right.
Okay. Let's see what else we got.
Yeah, and then they propagate their genetic legacy along with just kind of the programming and everything else. And then Miang is there to oversee the process and make sure that the weapon comes back together. So with the weapon destroyed, it didn't have enough parts, and so it cultivated biological pieces that would eventually reunite.
And it's the wave existence, presence, and affect on the days that causes the mother of Elheim and the the weapon of Myang to split. Because they're so fundamentally different from each other?
I think it's just the difference itself causes it, but that's splitting hairs a little bit. Yes, essentially. Because there's the subject and the complement. And they were both... basically, true Elheim divided herself into those two beings. And then the antitype reincarnates through the generations in a different way than Myang does, because there have been like 1,000 Myangs. Her factor exists within all women. So when one of them dies, she just inhabits another body, basically.
Right.
So she's always around, but they were manufacturing Ramses because they were like, where's the contact? It's been like 500. Where is it? And Grahf was still running around. So they're like, has that been broken? Like, is there not going to be another contact because Lacan won't go away? So they were trying to do an artificial contact slash a clone of Cain to get rid of him.
Yeah, that's all I've got at the moment.
Yeah, that's fair. I think we found a slugger finally.
Little slugger.
Yeah, this should be one of our speed shoes. Yeah, to talk a little bit about the side quests, Seitan does have one final sword upgrade on foot. Yep, there's one speed shoes. So Doom Manial has his best sword as well as another gun for Billy, if you like using him. So we do have that available. And for what it's worth, Billy is a very good character. I don't like the ammo mechanic very much, but by all means, use Billy if you're going, like, if you like him. You just gotta kind of keep up with your ammo consumption and stuff.
Yeah.
One more of those. We'll pop that onto Seitan when we get them. So this is also kind of the portion of the game, specifically after Anima Dungeon 2, but there hasn't been a huge amount of opportunity, but Rico and Elsteer is a pretty solid gear, all things considered, especially with we are going to get a final upgrade to the frame for Elsteer as well as Sybzen that give them just a huge amount of HP. So if you are a Rico fan, this is a good opportunity if you'd like to use Elsteer. It's a very good gear. I don't recommend Rico on foot, just talking pure stats. He's pretty slow. He's kind of has a really bad hit percent, so you're going to want to equip accessories that will kind of compensate for that. Speed shoes will help a lot. So I would definitely up his accuracy if you can as well. That's if you want to use him. There aren't a lot of on-foot portions. This is my personal choice for party. Seitan is just crazy good. There's a lot of argument to be made that Fenrir is eclipsed by Elrin Mazuel, Elsteer, and some other gears as well, just stats-wise. So we'll get into some of the nitty-gritty of that when I'm doing the final upgrades to everybody's gears, which will probably be in the next episode, because we are going to tackle a couple of the side quests next time. I'd like to cover the Lighthouse and probably Dunman Isle next time. And then the rest of it is probably going to be, like, we might do some bonus content with the Nortune Battle Arena. That might be after the fact, because you have to get to the final save point in the game and then leave in order to get access to El Regulus in the Battle Arena. So and there's another unlock that I haven't usually bothered with, but mostly you can kind of just do that for fun. If you enjoy the gear combat, this is the portion of the game where you can get the most out of it. So you can technically get a speed shoes and a couple of other things. We do also have some crazy good gear items that we will get access to that are going to make... Basically, I don't use extra AR or ether AR during endgame because there's stuff that's extremely good. So, may do some money grinding as well just to make sure we can afford everything, because if you know what's coming, you know how expensive it's going to be. So,
Fair enough.
probably grab a good bit of money once I finally get this last slugger. Let me see if there's any other things that I wanted to cover. Yeah, I think we talked a little bit about... I do have a couple of other things I want to cover as far as, like, some of the psychological makeup of some of the characters in this game, but we'll cover that next time, probably while we're doing Dune Manile. I did want to make sure to kind of cover the distinction. So one of the overriding questions that was asked while we were going through this game was, what do these people mean by God? And we've gotten sort of an answer, right? So there is Mother God, as what Grahf was talking about, which refers to true Elheim, Miang, the pieces of the Deus system, the Zohar. Like, it's sort of a collective reference. And that, like I mentioned before, Deus is sort of a stand-in for the Gnostic concept of the demiurge, the material god of the material universe. Whereas the wave existence is more akin to the monad, which the immaterial god of Gnosticism, kind of stands above this dimension. I think we've talked a little bit about the Tree of Life, the Tree of Sephiroth as well, from Jewish mysticism and mythology. Gnostic mythology, Gnostic theology, whatever. And that is part of kind of understanding the way the monad operates when regards to the physical world. And I talked about this a little bit, but it's very, very similar to what the wave existence is in this game. Not that the wave existence is the creator god or anything like that, but it does stand above this dimension. It's not part of this four-dimensional universe. It ended up trapped in its cage of fleshly existence during the connection test. It ended up stuck inside the Zohar. One of the questions I have is, was the Zohar an infinite energy engine before that? Because it seemed to have been connecting to a higher dimension to bring down additional energy. So it certainly had crazy dimensional capabilities, but yeah, very, very similar to the Tree of Sephiroth and the emanations coming from the monad that extend downwards and eventually emanate the physical universe, and then through the emanations of the monad comes the demiurge eventually. It's very similar to the wave existence. So it is very interesting that in the original translation, Deus was originally called Yahweh, because it wasn't really a reference to the Christian God. But in Gnostic tradition, you've got the way that the Christian God is regarded in the Gnostic tradition is just different than like your mainstream Christianity.
Right.
So, I like the rename. I like Deus as a name for it. It gives it a flavor unique to this world, and it really is quite different, even though it's modeled off of our mythology, our theology. But yeah, I mean, that's sort of a mouthful. There's a lot of high-minded concepts when it comes to the wave existence, and Deus is much more scientific and much more of a, like, in-your-face, in this reality, physical being. And the wave existence, even Faye's conversation with the existence, he had to unify himself to make true contact. He couldn't do it truly when he was id, because the existence, it reflects who is talking to it, because it's impossible for people to understand it. It's truly a higher being. It's very alien, very other. So
Right.
I love it. I love it. It's really, really a cool concept.
Yeah, I agree. It's fourth dimensional beings.
Get higher than.
Well, it's
Yeah.
it's like because the will it being merged with a physical aspect of it, sort of.
Yeah, it had to advent into this dimension.
Right, gave it a will.
Mm-hmm.
So, but did it have a consciousness before that, or was it just a force, like a primal force that existed?
Yeah.
That once the will was enforced upon it, created an entity that we are now calling the wave existence.
Yeah. I would say it like the only way it can manifest in a way that a being from this universe can understand it is by reflecting and by, taking on, adventing the way it did, incarnating, one might call it. But the higher dimension is composed of waves, similar to the monad has emanations in Gnosticism. So, does it have a consciousness? Probably, but probably not as it's understood in this dimension. What seems to be probably the answer. It's not clear. It might not have consciousness as anyone in this dimension might understand it.
Fair enough.
Yeah. It's one of the cooler aspects. Like, it's very difficult, I'd say, to put it in a video game. Like, how do we put God in a video game? Like, you sort of encounter it or something.
Yeah. Several JRPGs have done it. It's just each different approaches.
Yeah.
This is certainly one of the more unique ones that I've seen.
Well, and yeah, like minor spoilers for, like Persona 5, but like the demiurge is a concept that is used there as well. Yaldabaoth, it's called by name.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, God can mean something different depending on which game, but kill God is kind of a traditional JRPG thing, right?
Right,
Level 1, rescue a puppy. Level 99, in-game, kill God.
yeah.
It's the destination. It always would be. Grahf was calling.
Yeah.
True JRPG protagonist destiny.
Right. Which we'll probably have to call back again on this episode.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and I really do like, kind of shifting gears a little bit, I really do like kind of the way they talked about, they gave some closure to Ramses, which I quite appreciate as well. That, they gave him some time to, like, finish processing. Titan smacks him and it's like, look, snap out of it. You can self-pity all you want, but are they idiots too? Like, are you truly worthless? It's like, you're right. You're right. Thanks, Hyuga.
Yeah, he has a way with words.
Yep.
And fists, apparently.
And swords.
Just words.
I like swords. Let me see if there's anything else. Obviously, it's going to take me a minute to get the last speed shoes here. I did cover a lot of psychiatrists, so just to name drop all of them, the four major ones. So there is Freud. Freud had a lot of influence, particularly in the name and function of id. To a lesser extent, with Lacan, we see some of that, / Grahf. His id survived as an immaterial consciousness that could possess bodies. Oh, hey, big dude. What I'm going to do here, I'm going to kill it with Yamike. So there is Freud, had a big influence on kind of the philosophy of this game and some of the concepts used. There is also Carl Jung, with the idea of the persona and a lot of the more mystical concepts. Let's see here. The name of persona, the part of Kadamini. as well as, some of what Ellie was experiencing, where there's a shadow self, another self.
Right.
This again. There's also Karen Horney, the German psychoanalyst, and that was Faye's mother's name was Karen, purposely, the founder of feminist psychology. And then Jacques Lacan as well, primarily the mirror stage, which Grahf and kind of just the basic personality of Lacan was very much the mirror stage, which was one of the more confusing concepts. It's very heavily into Lacan's theories as well as just general terminology. A lot of them were contemporaries of or reactionaries to Freud as kind of the father of psychoanalysis. We're back with this, are we? So, yeah, I always find that very interesting because I wasn't really aware of Karen Horney specifically, her influence on it, but it makes a lot of sense. And then kind of the others, Lacan, of course, is name-dropped, literally. As well as Carl Jung has a lot of influence on the Persona series as well, so it is pretty cool that we're seeing his concepts applied here. And of course, there's the religious stuff I've talked about, the Gnostic influences and things like that. So,
right, yeah, there's a lot of religious symbolism in here.
Oh yeah, a huge amount. And one of the things I love about this game is how non-standard that is. Like, you're not going to get your generic, this is God, kill God thing. Like, it's complicated. It is sci-fi high-minded. There is a real effort to explain everything with scientific terms, even though you kind of have to invoke what might as well be magic with something like the Way of Existence.
Right.
So, yeah, cool stuff. Well, I think we're gonna give the viewers a bit of a shorter episode than last time. We're still at about a couple of hours here. Like I said, though, I am going to be preparing for the side quests. I will go ahead and get those last 2 dolls at the Snowfield hideout as well. And then when we come back, we are going to be proceeding into Dunman Isle and the Lighthouse. We're going to get both of those done next time, I think. We will have time for both, I believe. If it takes forever for us to do things, we will, of course, break it up a little bit. But, yeah, after those 2 side quests, there's not a lot to do other than go ahead and finish the game out, which we are going to be proceeding to do pretty quickly here. So, we are closing in on the end of the game. We'll probably discuss more of the concepts. I do have a couple more things prepared for you as far as kind of the background of this game, as well as, just some additional thoughts. And I don't know, maybe I'll go into a little bit of what it means to me a little bit as well. I know this is a pretty influential game on a lot of people I know, a lot of people I've spoken with, and just some of the concepts. I really do think there are things to be critical of in this game, but it really functions as art in a lot of ways, and one of my favorites. So yeah, look forward to that next time. Side quests, any other comments as we kind of wrap up this episode?
Not at this time, no, thank you.
Of course.
But we are fast approaching the finale, and I completely understand why this would be an influential game for, especially when it came out.
Oh yeah,
our age range and stuff. Mm-hmm. Lots to process. But yeah, if you like what you see, please hit all the buttons, leave some comments, let us know what you're thinking in the comment section. I know we love hearing from you and being able to engage with you in those ways.
Mm-hmm.
If you like what we're seeing, check out our system, our other game plays Ooh, I'm tired.
Playthroughs.
Yes, thank you. Words are difficult today.
That is okay.
Yeah. But yeah, our other playthroughs, we've got a lot less intense ones out there that are full of laughs and fun moments. So check them out. But more than anything else, we just are glad to have you here with us. So thank you so much for hanging out. And we hope you have a wonderful day.
Have a good one, everybody. We'll see you next time on Xenogears.
Yeah. Bye-bye now.
Diddly diddly do 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 do. Thanks for watching.